Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
I got to say that my idea of Steam Clock replacing Finn as mascot in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox, it's not taking off. All of our guests today on this Wednesday, including Dean Brown, standing by. Have we got Dean? Including Dean Brown, brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions and ableauctions.ca. More on Able Auctions in a bit. Peter Puck, Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. I thought the same thing about MLS expansion as well.
Yeah.
But the difference is soccer's never been more popular. 40 years ago, you'd never see premiership games on American network television.
Good point.
Good point by Peter Puck. Peter Puck talking soccer instead of hockey. Dean Brown's going to talk hockey now. Voice of the Senators on TSN 1200. Canucks practicing in Ottawa today. They open up a 3-game road trip against the Senators in the nation's capital tomorrow. And Dean joins us now. Thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. As a guest, do I get an Able auction? Like, do I get a free auction out of this, or I don't have anything to auction? But you know.
I'll make some calls, Dean, and we'll get back to you on that. Okay.
Thank you.
How would you describe the current state of the Ottawa Senators?
Well, that's a good question. Battered, beaten, disparaged, fans very upset. People want results. They want coaches fired. It's your standard Canadian market NHL environment, and it goes with losing. If you're not winning enough, that's going to happen. When you get to the point where Ottawa is now, and the point is that I think in any sport, expectation is really what drives these kinds of emotions. So with the expectation this year that this should be a playoff team. There are people that are expecting a lot more than last in their conference right now, and I think they've lost, 5 of their last 6, 4 of the last 5, whatever it is. So people are not happy. It's not happy.
Yeah, booing last time out, the players complaining about that, fans upset, a whole lot going on and off the ice. You mentioned the coach. What can you tell us about DJ Smith's job security?
Well, I think like any coach in any sport, ultimately when it's time for your team to win, if you don't have enough wins, sooner or later you get fired. And I guess it all depends whether you have the micro or the macro view. If you have the macro view, then every single coach gets fired. Scotty Bowman's the best coach in history. He got fired. So, everybody knows, including DJ, that at some point he'll get fired from this job and he'll get another one. And, and that's the way it goes. As far as the micro right now, I don't get the sense from new team president, new hockey ops president Steve Staios that he's in any rush to do that, because DJ certainly has not lost the room. This team certainly does still play hard for him. And so I think those things that often tip off management that change needs to be made, they're not there right now. And I think, being new to the position, new to the franchise in Staios, I think he wants to take a bit of a step back, try and have as much as he can, have some patience, and see where this team would be. And I think one of the unfortunate twists for Ottawa, and not the only, but one of the reasons they're having trouble getting wins is they're beat up. They have injuries, and it's not such a big deal how many injuries you have. It's where they are. Right now they're missing 3 of their 6 starters on defense, and they're just not deep enough as an organization to be able to steadily be able to gather wins when they're that short. So that's kind of the situation they're in. But as far as the temperature on DJ Smith, I don't get the sense, guys, that it's gone from back burner to front burner on the stove, at least not yet.
Dean, what was your take on Brady Tkachuk and his comments that he didn't like the booing? Because he's deleted his social media accounts. He wants to move on and talk about Toronto. Yeah. What were your thoughts, and how did that story unfold in Ottawa in your eyes?
Well, I think it's like anything else. It's there's no one answer. If you're talking for the fan base, there's no one opinion the fan base has. There's various opinions on everything. So if you're looking to say this is how the fans felt, this is how Brady felt, you're going to be on the mark for some and off the mark for others. Hey, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is just personally, my own personal view. Fans pay the money. They pay everyone's salary. They have a right to boo, to be happy, not be happy, chant for the coach to be fired, chant for him to be saved, whatever you want. You have the right to do that. And I think that fans can't get their nose out of the joint if a professional athlete, after being booed, tells people he doesn't like that and tells people that he wants his coach to be the coach and he doesn't appreciate them calling for his head. I think both can be true at the same time. Fans have a right to boo or cheer or do whatever they want. Doesn't mean that the guy is supposed to stand in front of the media and say thank you. So I don't know in the big scheme of things how big a deal it is. I don't think it's damaged the relationship between Brady Tkachuk and the vast majority of the fan base. There's some people who say, well, he shouldn't be cracking back at the fans. Well, Brady has shown from day one that he's an emotional guy, he's an honest guy, and he's going to tell you how he feels. Yeah, and that's just the way it is.
He's one of my most favorite players to watch, Brady Tkachuk. GM Pierre Dorian was fired. Steve Staios says they're going to take their time. You're starting to hear some names pop up, possible GM candidates. Is it the right move to wait, Dean, in your eyes, or do they need a GM in there right away?
Well, I don't know. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a play-by-play guy, which means my basis of expertise is he shoots, he scores. Hard math, doing my own tax returns, predicting the weather. Nothing in my bag of expertise. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. I think probably what's going to happen, though, is it's not going to be immediate. Right. I think Steve Staios, to get really the lay of the land, in this respect, almost not a bad thing for him to be the interim GM because he gets immersed in it really quickly, really deeply. But I have a feeling that some of the guys that he would likely want to talk to about this job are not going to be able to talk until the offseason. So it wouldn't shock me in any way if this went on into the summer. And by then, who knows? Maybe Steve will find out that he wants to do both. He would not be the first person to do that. So, but I don't think there's anything imminent. I don't think there's any rush to go out and find a general manager today because a trade has to be enacted that the people they still have, including Steve Staios, can't do that if they need to or want to. So I don't think that is also, I don't think that's a front burner issue here yet.
Michael Andlauer, is he the right person to turn? I mean, you wouldn't know it by what's been happening the last few weeks, but is he the right person to turn things around in Ottawa? And what about the arena situation, Dean?
Well, I think it will turn around in Ottawa simply because this team now has a really good young core that is going to be really good. They're not really good today, but they are going to be really good no matter who was owning this team, whether it's Mike Andlauer or somebody else. One thing I can say about Michael Andlauer, I've had a little bit of a chance to spend a little bit of time with him, and I don't have a vast reference of billionaires I know, but if there's a more down-to-earth billionaire than him, I've never met him. And again, I have not met a whole bunch of billionaires in my life. So he said all the right things. He seems to really understand what fans want to hear, the customers want to hear, and he wants to give that to them. And he makes it very clear that he's an employee-first kind of guy, wants to take care of his people, so they take care of him. So he's saying all the right things, doing all the right things, and I think this team is going to be better simply because it's poised to be better. And as far as the new rink goes, I think that is it's going to happen. It's a matter of when, deciding on where it's going to be, and then you have to go through here in Ottawa. You have to go through 4 levels of government to be able to do it. So whatever's going to happen isn't going to happen quickly. It's only going to take 3 years to build it, but it might take 5 years to start building. So, it is going to happen. It's just a matter of when is it going to start to happen.
How long have you been doing this job now, Dean?
Broadcasting in general or doing the Senators?
Senators.
They are 32 years old. I've been doing it for 32 years.
Nice.
One of the best in the business. I love listening to you. I catch you on Sirius every once in a while, and it's just fabulous. Love it. Thanks so much for doing this, Dean. Yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
Anytime, boys.
You bet.